Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm sure you can tell that there's a little bit of a difference here. I am full on copper now. My hair is also much shorter than it was. I got it done last week, so I'm still very much adjusting to this change, but I'm having a really great time. I'm loving it, so that has been very exciting. But today's video is our June reading wrap up as well as our July TBR video. So today we are gonna go over the 6 books that I read in June. You will get to see me update my book journal, and we're going to talk about some books I'm hoping to get to in July and also some new releases that I'm excited about. I will say this month hasn't been the best in terms of how much I've managed to read. It has just been so busy. I was also so ill for like a week, so I just have not had nearly as much time to read as I normally would. So I'm honestly quite impressed with the fact that I managed to get 6 books read, because I think we got to like middle of the month and I was like, oh, I've read like 2 books, okay. So yeah, I feel like I've done pretty good going considering. But yeah, without further ado, let's do my book journal. Okay, let's talk about the books that I've read this month. So, starting off, I don't know whether to say strong or depressingly, but we started off with Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh. This book was kind of just like a monster of pain. I will hold my hands up and say I went into this book being a Lizzie hater. I couldn't stand Lizzie prior to this book, but lo and behold, I felt immediately bad the second I picked up this book, because oh my god, poor Lizzie. I just want to give her a hug and be like, girl, it's gonna be okay. I hope it's gonna be okay. Their relationship I wasn't expecting to fall in love with as much as the others. Like, anyone who knows me knows that I'm a die-hard Johnny fan. He is just the most thoughtful, but then I also love Joey, I also love Gibbs. I think because we hadn't really seen, to be honest, all that much of Lizzie or Huey up until this point, so I just didn't really think I was going to care that much, because going into this book I didn't really care too much about them. But yeah, my heart broke for them. Huey is just the sweetest soul. He literally put in blood, sweat and tears into that relationship. He, like, that, I'm not going to get into it, but like, because I will start sobbing. Like, one of my friends keeps sending me TikToks about it and I'm like, you have to stop, because I will keep crying. Yeah, safe to say I spent like a good half an hour after finishing this just crying. But if you haven't picked up the Boys of Torn series, I would highly recommend it, but yeah, just go into it knowing that it's not a light and fluffy series. It took like really, like this one, it felt like had almost like every dark topic you could possibly imagine, and it's a hard read from that perspective. But yeah, I am really hoping that everyone just gets their happy ending, to be honest. But I gave this one a 4. It was quite slow at points. I think I was also confused as to like where their story was going to get in this book, because like Taming 7, for instance, was half the size of this pretty much, and that one covered from childhood to like present day. This one didn't even get to like present day, and I didn't realise it was going to be so much of them as kids, which obviously now having read the book I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But at the time I was like, when are they going to get to teenagers? Because it also did feel a bit weird like reading about kids, like 7-year-olds. I was like, I don't know if I care that much. I mean, I did, that's wrong, I don't know how to say it, but it was a bit slow at points. I think since Taming 7, to be honest, these books haven't really hit the same for me. I'd say from like Binding 13 to Redeeming 6, I was smashing through those books. Like I was reading them in like 2 or 3 sittings, which I know, psycho, but that's how into those books I was. These ones I couldn't read too much. I don't think I was as invested in the characters. There wasn't as much like trying that I felt was like wanting me to stay in the book, but still a good read. Next was It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. This was one of my most anticipated releases this year. Annabelle Monaghan is one of my favourite authors of all time. She just, girl knows what she's doing. This book I largely really enjoyed. It's not my favourite of hers, I don't think. I also don't think it helped that I started this, I think, before I got ill, and then I was ill, so then I didn't read it for ages. So I think it didn't help that I took like a big gap in between reading this, but it was still very enjoyable, very quick. I will say the third act conflict pissed me off. Sometimes, like, I will say I'm largely a fan of no third act breakup. That's where I sit most of the time. Sometimes if it's done right and like it makes sense, then I don't mind. This one, I mean, it kind of made sense because it was like an event that we had kind of been building up to the entire book. It just kind of annoyed me because most of the third act conflict was just miscommunication. And I was like, if you guys had just sat down and had a conversation, you know, this would never have happened. But I did like the storyline. I enjoyed both the characters, especially the guy. What was his name? Dan. Loved him. He really redeemed this book. He was like the perfect like boyfriend. But yeah, very enjoyable read. I gave this a 4 as well. Next read was One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. This was actually my first Carly Fortune read ever, and as soon as I finished this I was like, why have I not picked up any of her books before? Because I had such an amazing time reading this book. I didn't ever want to put it down. I'm pretty sure I read this one in like a couple of sittings. I was loving it. It was just like, it was so well done. I think, what was the reason I gave this a 4? I gave it a 4 instead of a 5. I'm trying to remember what that was. I think again, it was like the third act conflict in this one. I mean, again, it made sense, but it just kind of annoyed me. I was just like, ugh. But it was so cute. And I just liked that this one kind of felt like more of a multifaceted romance. Like, both of the characters were going through things, they were helping each other through these things. It felt very like nostalgic because they'd both been at the lake when they were kids, but they'd never met. I liked the family aspect of it, not gonna lie, her family all fucking sucked. I felt like they really just didn't listen to her half the time. But I loved it. It was my favourite book of the month, Like, I definitely want to pick up another Carly Fortune book because this was so pleasantly surprising. Now, the next book or two were in videos, so I'm not going to talk about them too much because I feel like I spoke about them a lot in, I think it was my last video. But the next book was My Friends by Frederick Backman. This I gave, I think, 3. Again, this was one of those books that I desperately wanted to love, like, was so, like, just determined to love it, and I didn't. I just really didn't. Objectively, an amazing book. Like, the writing is so incredibly gripping, the characters are so fully realised, I loved how he described things. I think it was just not my kind of book. So if you are someone who does usually like Frederick Backman's writing, I think you will love this book. It's just not my kind of story, I don't think, but I did love the like cyclical nature of it in terms of like how the story starts. It's kind of the same way that it ends. I also kind of like loved the little reveal at the end. It was really cute. It wasn't very like gripping. I felt like I was kind of have to like fight through reading it because I didn't really have the urge to like pick it back up, but I do still think I'm going to read more of his books. I'm very intrigued by Beartown because I know that so many people love that series, so I am going to read that maybe in the winter, I think. But I am glad I read this, but just sadly not my favourite book, but would highly recommend because, like I say, objectively amazing book, just not for me. Now, the next book that we have is Dust Storm by Maggie Gates. I don't think I've actually ever seen anyone talk about this. I had only heard of it because whenever I'm scrolling through my Kindle to try and find a book to read, this one always comes up, and when I was in London a couple of weeks ago I saw it in Waterstones and I was like, what is it about? And literally, I don't think I even read the entire blurb. I think I literally saw single dad ranch and I was like, that's all I need to know. Picked it up, thoroughly enjoyed. Again, was it my favourite book ever? No, but I still gave it a 4 because I was gripped from start to finish, didn't want to put it down. The single dad trope will do it for me every time. Don't know what it is, but I eat it up every single time. Really enjoyed this. Would highly recommend you read. The final book that I read this month was The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. This is the 3rd book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I know there are novellas, but I've never read them because whenever I've had a chance to, I'm like, I don't actually remember. Wow, sorry, I've only just noticed this. Wow, that's gorgeous. Wow, oh, I love that. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I just never remember who the characters are that the novellas are about, so I've never bothered to read them, and to be fair, the story makes sense without them, so this was really enjoyable. I had been away from this series for about 2 years, so I didn't remember a lot going into it. The only character I remembered was Mish, or Misha, I don't know how you say her name. I was reading it as Mish, don't know, but I didn't really remember an awful lot about like the political system or the world of this book, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved the like slow burn romance. I will say, if you're someone who wants a quick romantasy, this is not it. It was quite slow, like romance wise. It just, I don't know, it was almost like a very interesting take on Trials, which I know everyone says they're getting sick of, but I'm personally not. It was more like they had to, it wasn't like Trials in like a competition sense, it was like things that they had to face. I don't know how to say it, but this was really enjoyable. Carissa Broadbent is one of those kind of fail-safe authors for me. There hasn't been a book that I've read by her that I've not enjoyed. Like, her writing is insane and she is so great at writing romantasies, so would highly recommend you pick up a Carissa Broadbent book if you can. I will say, and I don't know if this is controversial opinion or not, but I do prefer the Children, is it Children of Fallen? No, it's Queen of Lost Hearts? No, War of Lost Hearts trilogy. The one with Daughter of No Worlds. I can't remember the name of the trilogy. That's I prefer that to the Crowns of Nyaxia ones, but they're still high up there. But highly recommend Crystal Broadbent. So those are my 6 books that I read this month. I feel like it was a pretty good reading month. I will say though, I didn't get any 5 stars, which is kind of sad, but anyway, let's get on to talking about our July TBR. So, in July, let me actually double check what I've written down on my TBR in the book journal. I put, first book that I'm very excited for this month is a new release, and that is Jessa Hastings' new book, Time of Your Life. I was like, my jaw was on the floor when she announced the new book, because obviously Conditions of Will came out in like February, March time, so I was like, how have we got another new book already? But I'm so excited, considering like I'm still thinking about the Conditions of Will all the time, so I'm very excited for another Jessa book. I'm really excited for that one to come out. I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I'm just annoyed that for some reason in the UK now they're all bloody hardcovers. I might actually, hold on, there's a point. What I might do, I'm going to Ireland this month, and I'm pretty sure that in Ireland they sell the paperback, so maybe I might read it on Kindle before then, but like I might buy the physical copy in Ireland. That could be a shout. Then another book that I want to get to this month is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm kind of scared of her books, to be honest. I have only ever read one Taylor Jenkins Reid book, and that was One True Loves, and I hated it. It was so boring. I didn't care for any of the characters. I was so bored the entire book. I hated it. I think I gave it like a 2-star. It was horrid. And I think that has scared me ever since, and I think there's a silly attitude to take, because I know out of all of her books it's probably not her best, because there are so many people who are die-hard fans of her books. But I wasn't considering reading anymore, to be honest, until I saw Miss Sophie Jane Miller read it, and she loved it, as did Georgia, so I was kind of like, well, maybe I have to read it. So I think I really want to get to that this month. I think after payday I'm gonna go, because I saw it in the supermarket, so I think I'm gonna buy it in there. I'm very excited to get to that one. Then I bought in London What Happens in Amsterdam by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I obviously would have read that probably this month if I hadn't been ill, but obviously didn't get a chance to get around to it, so I'm hoping that this month I will be able to get to that one. It just sounds really cute, and I'm not gonna lie, the cover sold me, so yeah, hopefully we'll get to that one this month. Now, another book that I have been kind of putting off reading for a while is, and I hope I'm saying this right, Phantasma. I can't remember who it's written by, but a couple of my friends have said that it's really good and that they highly recommend it, and it comes up on my Kindle all the time because it's on Kindle Unlimited, and I think I saw a TikTok the other day about it, and I was like, oh fine, I'll read it. So that is like my fantasy pick for the month. I feel I don't know, I think I get a bit hesitant about starting fantasy series now, but I have heard nothing but great things about that one, so I was like, and it doesn't look like it's too long, the book itself, so I was like, maybe that's a good one to go with. Then the final book on my TBR this month is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. After having read One Golden Summer, which I now understand is like the book after Every Summer After, I really want to read another Carly Fortune book, and I was looking at all the others to like see which one I would like to read next, and this one does have the highest rating, so I would like to try and find that at some point this month. But yeah, that is all the books that are on my TBR for July. If there are any other new releases or books that you think I should get to this month, that you think I'll be in the mood to read or you think that I'll enjoy, please leave them down below. I would be very intrigued to see your guys' suggestions. Also, if you have any video ideas or videos that you want to see from me, comment those down below. I have planned all the videos up until I think like the end of August, I want to say. But if you have any ideas, I'm obviously more than happy to hear them and see if I can do them for you. But yeah, that is it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you all next week. Bye!